So you have 5 children that you've adopted in total from Bethany. Why did you choose this service?
Well, we had originally lived in Grand Rapids, and Bethany is well known here. And we moved to Chicago, and that's when we started to pursue adoption, and there was a Bethany there, so it was just kind of a natural choice, besides the fact that we definitely wanted a Christian organization. And Bethany's faith statement strongly agrees with, it's the truth, the Bible, and that's what we agree with as well. And they also make their families send in like pastor recommendations and things like that, just to make sure.
Right.
And so we were impressed with that.
Okay, cool. And what are some like key ways that Bethany is involved in the adoption process? Like, how do they help you decide like when you're going to adopt and how you're going to adopt and stuff like that?
Okay. Well, we initially, with each adoption, we've gone to an information meeting again and again, but it's always good to get as much information as possible.
Right.
And then they kind of hook you up with a social worker if you are ready to start, and that social worker really leads you through and kind of might counsel you, one way or the other. If he or she doesn't think you're ready, then, he or she would definitely say something. You are in the process, the social worker comes over to your house and, make sure it's a safe place for a child to come into, and interviews 2 or 3 times for each adoption, and because they have to take a lot of information down to document it and for the court. And they made us do a lot of training each time, which was good. We read a lot of books and went to some training opportunities. So as much information, they provide as much information as they can to. Yeah,
so they are a helpful service within like the entire process, and very thorough and stuff like that.
They are.
Okay. And once you obviously have 5 children, so each time once you get your child, how does Bethany stay involved, or do they stay involved in any way?
Like after each of our children came home, Bethany would then come and visit a couple times. Our social worker would, to make sure things were going well. Yeah. Also, we have the privilege of having open adoptions with the birth mom, mostly birth moms, one birth father. So Bethany, kind of helped set that up, and then with some of them, it was ongoing for a little bit, and then we kind of took over once we and the birth mom got to know each other well. Then we just kind of did, communicated on our own, but initially Bethany helped with that. We still, one of our children, we don't see the birth mom. She just wanted letters and pictures, so we still send letters and pictures to Bethany, and they make sure that they
so it does
get to the birth mom. And sometimes she will send letters back to Bethany, and they'll send them on to us.
So like an in-between, like a mediator, kind of to help in
that
situation for one of your children.
Yes. Okay. Yes, and they have, every year they invite us to like a picnic for adoptive families, which is really fun. And they still send us information on training opportunities too, if we still want to listen to something about adoption.
Okay, and just what is your overall experience with Bethany? What are like the most positive aspects of it, and is there any negative?
I would say the positive, well, we've done it 5 times.
Right.
So we've really been impressed that Bethany cares deeply about the birth parents. Yeah. And we've seen time and again that like the birth parents come into Bethany and they are counseled, and Bethany, doesn't coerce them into choosing adoption. Right. We've known some that have thought they wanted to adopt and then decided, when the baby was born, and Bethany is very accommodating with that and loving for the birth mom. They do try, recently they started like a fund for birth moms, because a lot of them have financial struggles. Okay. So that's really neat, whether they choose adoption or whether they decide to parent. So that's really neat. And we know that the staff, when we were a prospective family, they prayed for us every week at their staff meeting. They always pray for the families and the birth moms, which means a lot as well.
Yeah.
Anything negative that happened in any of our adoptions, the one thing I would say, when we lived in Chicago, we adopted our first two from the Bethany in Chicago, and it was really neat. They did a lot of interstate adoptions.
Okay.
So Hallie is actually from South Carolina. They would send our profile to different states because some Bethanies don't have as many families for birth moms to choose from. But the Grand Rapids office traditionally does not do interstate adoptions, only once in a while. So that would just be a small negative.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Something that the service doesn't go out.
Right. They let other offices in other states do that kind of thing for some reason. But we've been so thankful for the Christian staff there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.